Hey, welcome to the DBB channel, and today we do have another UG versus Ichigo matchup, but this time round, okay, it's gonna be a unique Ichigo deck, basically the one that mixed with the squad 0. Alright, we do see him actually playing the first card here. Looking at top card, I believe he put down a Bankai, which is basically the final trigger into the bottom deck. And I must say the whole squad 0 deck does have a very unique way of playing, because they do actually play towards the remove area in a more faster pace compared to the original Ichigo deck. And we see the Tenjiro coming down here, looking at top card once again, and that's DV on top, then playing the Senjumaru and just passing turn. So as I was saying, the whole Ichigo deck actually is going to be very different, because there's only really one Ichigo that really benefits from this whole squad 0. It's actually the Ichigo that actually gone through the training at the Soul King Palace. So this Ichigo does actually gain the double damage and impact 1 fairly easy compared to the previous Ichigo deck list that I've showcased in my last video. Alright, basically that last Ichigo wasn't really the squad 0 one, but this time round it's actually a pure squad 0 with a splash of Ichigo, which we'll be showcasing in this game itself. And he does go for the Ichibe here, and Ichibe is definitely the strongest card in the deck right now, given that it's a color trigger, allows you to scry top 4, and actually allows you to also predict the card in the next top card. And then if you predict correctly, you do add it to hand, and of course you do add a card to remove area. We do see the Senjumaru coming down, alright, annihilating the Sukuna, and Sukuna is good as dead, and we are back to 0 for the left player here. And he does decide to actually push out the Panda, which is definitely a very costly move. Alright, and why I say costly is because later in the game itself, we're going to show what's going to happen when you do push out a double boss so confidently and without any more double boss in your hand. Alright, we do hit a successful 2 hits here, pushing down the 0 division to just 5 life here. However, we do only have 1 hand in our hand. Alright, it's just basically the Sukuna, and we do only have 3 energy lines, so it's not going to do too good here. And the right player does have the cards to play, as he does play the Ichigo double ball, does play the Ichibe one more time, looking at top 4, and this allows him to really make sure that he knows what he's going to draw in the next few turns. And it's definitely I'll say a tedious process to an extent, because you actually do need to know what you're going to draw, what you're going to scry, and of course whether you really want to AP draw 1. And let's not forget that they do actually have the Soul King Palace stage as well. And what the Soul King Palace stage actually does is basically giving you a free draw 1, alright, if it's a 0 division card. It looks like he's finished arranging a top 4 and then passing a turn to the left player here. And we do draw into a final, which is definitely a very dead card in our hand. And we do draw into another Sukuna while drawing the AP draw 1. And this is it, you know, you do have 2 APs unspent, and this is actually Fuse Batman, and do actually swing the UG here to the life. And we'll be hitting to Ichigo. Now this Ichigo is basically the bread and butter of the deck. It's a very strong attacker as well as defender, because he does have the impact negate. And looks like it does push out the double ball Ichigo to the front line. It's going to act as a 5k, or rather a 4k attacker, sorry. And then we do see actually finally the Soul King Palace hitting the top card nicely, which is basically what he arranged in the previous turn. And he's actually going to go for that special, alright, a very long name special, which allows him to basically cycle for free, killing out that 4k attacker, and really abusing the chance that, you know, we don't really have any attacker, or rather don't have any energy. So this game is definitely not in our favor anymore. You do see the Ichigo swing at the life, and we do hit into a draw finger, alright, not too bad. We do see the Ichibe using his skill, declaring correctly, and of course instantly throwing it away to the remove area, really helping to feel that whole Ichigo effect. And we do hit another finger for the draw, and I mean, it's nice to actually hit the draws now, but however we are still 2 AP behind, and that's pretty unfortunate. And we do actually have to go for another AP draw 1, and it looks like we don't draw into any double ball but just more pandas. And these pandas, man, I mean, they are great, but not too great at the current moment, because they're just impact negates and they don't really help you to push through the game. And we do actually have the final, and we're going to use actually one of our AP to actually just crush our own card here to play the Fukuma Shrine. Alright, so this allows us to actually prepare for the Sukuna in the next turn, but we do have 2 empty spaces in the front line, and this isn't looking too good, very honestly, right? Because the opponent is building their remove area, and I believe he already have activated double damage for the card. Does use the Soul King Palace, and does decide to actually not add it to hand but instead discard it. Now this adds the trash count to the outside area, and of course this allows him to play to the Ichigo raid here. And now I do notice he doesn't have the enough energy, but however in the last AP he does actually play a card in the back row anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So it's just a matter of sequencing. But however, that Ichigo does hit the 8 exact cards to actually kill off that Sukuna, and the left player is definitely in danger now. And we do have the Panda to actually block off the Impact one. But you know, we do have 3 more attacks coming through. Ichibe will actually activate and declare 4 and add the Ichigo to hand. Alright, and this really depends whether he wants to actually have the Ichigo in hand. Looks like he does discard it because he does have 1 more at the outside area. Luckily, we do hit the special here though. Let's kill off the Ichigo, but we do hit into the second life already. We do hit into a UG raid, but however, we don't have any UG. Very unfortunate because the energy line is just full of non-raid bases. And we're just gonna push out one of the Panda once again. And we do actually finally see a double ball, and we shall see how we're gonna play this out. We do play the UG in the back line, which is basically a double ball if you do have Sukuna fingers in the outside area, which obviously we do. And let's go for the second AP to actually go for a hard play. And we're actually going for the UG hard play instead of actually raiding it. Very interesting. Now we do go into the final and actually raiding Sukuna instead, basically to benefit from the shrine. And it looks like we did not hit that last finger I believe he was hoping for, because I mean, you want to have the snipe on the Sukuna to actually kill off the Ichigo, but we do actually get the impact one going through, hitting to the Senjumaru active trigger. We're not gonna do too much here and just passing a turn, and we are just at 2 life against that 3 life advantage. But however, he does have 2 Ichigos with the impact one and double damage ready to swing at the life there. So luckily we do have the Pandas to actually help out. The Soul King balance does help him to add the Ichibe to hand, but looks like he does play down the Senjumaru as well as going for the special here, killing off that Panda. And with the last AP, he does go for another Senjumaru raid to actually kill off the other Panda. And this is really it because the Ichigo does have the impact one and the double damage. We're just gonna eat the 2 life here, and this basically concludes the game right here, right now. Now let's talk about the Ichigo Zero Division deck list. Alright, so starting with the zeros, just very simple, 12 zeros, alright, just playing on the Zero Division. And it's very important for the Zero Division trade is because of the Soul King Palace, and of course how the Ichigo counts the number of Zero Division in the remove area. And of course the special actually do require you to discard Zero Division cards as well, so that's very important. And we do play the 1 cost as well, the 4-1 cost Senjumaru, mainly because it's a red target and it's a 2.5k vanilla with a very strong active trigger. And then for the other card, we actually do play just 2 copies here because the amount of times you do have cards in the outside area is actually pretty rare. Alright, of course some cards can go into the drop zone very easily, such as your Ichibes, but they don't actually have any triggers, so we won't really play too much copies of that. And next we do actually play the 3 cost Ichigo here. And the 3 cost Ichigo is basically your 4k attackers as well as the double ball. And we do play the Oetsu as well because I mean looking at the top card and it's a Zero Division trade as well. Now of course we do play 4 copies of the very strong Ichigo, and you can see in that game itself it does possess a lot of threat. Alright, especially if you do build out the remove area very steadily. And the 4 Senjumaru raid it's pretty self-explanatory, I would say. It's your basically your bomb outside of the special. And of course we do play the Ichibe because Ichibe is your main character, he's your color trigger as well. And we of course just play 2 copies of Ichigo. They are pretty much a flex, I would say, and it really adds to the whole 10 special count. And of course we play the Soul King Palace as well as the Bankai, and that pretty much sums up the whole deck. This is the UG deck list you guys actually witnessed in the previous video. Thank you for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys do enjoy the content.